Hello class, this is Miss Shannon and we're going to do our last lecture for our course this week. We're on chapters 13 and 14 in your textbook. These are very good chapters. Chapter 13 involves HIPAA privacy and security, and I think you all are pretty much well versed on these. And so for that reason, I'm going to briefly cover Chapter 14, which is information governance. And you all probably are familiar with this chapter as well, but I want to expound on this because we have a greater role in information governance. Information governance can be considered what used to be called records management, which evolved to information management. And what this represents is a total culmination of governing information, irrespective of whether it's health information, human resource management information, clinical or administrative. It does not matter. It's the totality of governance of information. And so I wanted to bring this to you today because your role in HIM, as what happened to me, may in fact expand or expound to this role. I was a facility director of HIM, and because our skill sets are so closely related, I was chosen to take up on the responsibility of being the facility records officer. And so I just want to touch on this subject today. It is a huge responsibility. It's a tumultuous task. If you've ever been asked to be a records manager or officer, it is pretty much the same things that we do in managing functions and health information management. Again, it's just more global. And then you need to make sure that there's compliance and governance throughout your facility. This includes police records, quality management, any department that creates a record in a facility or utilizes data. This is the responsibility of information governance. Our learning objectives for this unit. The first one being to compare and contrast information governance with data governance and their relative significance, to explain the importance of enterprise information management and why it has become essential. Explain the reasons why health information has become a valued strategic asset. Continuing on, to summarize the 8 key principles of information governance for healthcare, and then to identify tools that may be utilized to assist a healthcare organization in implementing an IG program. And so this is specific to healthcare, but again, it can expand to the entire facility. Overall management of the availability, usability, integrity, and security of data employed in a organization or enterprise is considered it is actually falling under the auspices of data governance. It's a specific enterprise information management function that supports coordination amongst all EIM functions. Organizational wide framework for managing information throughout the life cycle. And this is the life cycle of a record. Okay, and the supporting as it supports an organization's strategy, operations, regulatory, legal, risk, and environmental requirements. Data governance and information governance programs rely on quality data and information. And so I just want to stop here for a moment and talk about this because this goes into the conversation of what data we're actually going to be looking at and controlling in terms of the scope of the program. So depending on what your responsibility is, you will need to define the scope of the program. All right. So when you go through that process, you need to define what encompasses the data and then the information that you will in fact govern. Okay, because a part of information governance states that certain documents, such as email, become a record. And if in fact they become a record via email, it's an official document of the facility. So you need to set up parameters and administrative policies and procedures to govern your IG program, information governance, as well as your data governance programs. All right. All right, so the requirements include to make informed decisions, to evaluate patient care and population health, to evaluate business processes, evaluate financial stability, reduce security breaches, and of course, HIPAA infractions and breaches as well, to control e-discovery costs. Now, I know they said security breaches, but in fact, you have a security breach, you as well have a privacy breach. Okay, so we need to treat it as such. Security just implies the methodology in terms of how the breach occurred. It's implying that it's a technical hardware, software, something related to a technological equipment that was utilized in terms of the encroachment or breach that occurred. But more importantly, the information will definitely imply that a breach of privacy is that, a breach of information privacy. Effectiveness is the degree to which stated outcomes are attained, and then efficiency is how the desired outcome is achieved or produced, particularly without wasting resources such as time, personnel, and money. And so this efficiency is part of the information governance 2. Information governance 3, DG is a subset of IG, as data is the foundation upon which information is built. Now, GIGO, this goes back historically, and this has been the cliche of HIM as I came up and moved through the profession way long time ago, some decades ago. Garbage in, garbage out. That has not changed. So the integrity of the data that's going in the system will reflect the integrity of the data coming out of the system, data and or information. This metaphor for the importance of effective DG, garbage data provides garbage information. This garbage or inaccurate information leads to poor decision making and ineffective or inaccurate information. E-discovery. E-discovery is just the acronym for what? Electronic discovery. What is discovery? Discovery entails pretrial activities wherein participants acquire and analyze information. In this instance, is e-information, so it's electronic, but it would be plain discovery would just be any information that could be used in a civil or criminal legal proceedings. Now, the distinction here is that e-discovery may be more difficult to obtain or even identify. Reason being, when you look at the continuum of a health information system, that process of information coming in, the system starts at where? The beginning of registration. And so all of these applications and all of these interfaces will impact where that information is going, where it's stored, and the eventual outcome of that data being housed. So to track that information, it's imperative that individuals are able to assess where data or information is going. One of the difficult things you may see in your profession is that you may need to delegate the responsibility of an accounting of disclosures. Now, when this first came out, this was very problematic because this was not under automated procedures, not at all facilities, and individuals were doing this manually. but I think it's a little bit more easier to grasp now that we're in electronic systems, but it's still a little bit tricky because, again, you need to look at the applications that are being interfaced, coming in the system as well as going out of the system. Data and information governance, item number 4, DG and IG are examples of the little picture, big picture concept. Small aspects of data governance provide the little picture while supporting the bigger picture of information governance. And so you all see that parallel in terms of how those contrast with each other. IG, information governance, is the big picture, the all-encompassing information management of the entire healthcare facility. And this is what I alluded to in the beginning. You may be responsible for information governance of the entire facility. And I can tell you, this is a tumultuous task. Data governance, in many ways, is the foundation of HIM because it does what? It includes data modeling, which is the process of determining the user's information needs and identifying relationships amongst the data. Data mapping allows for connections between two systems, typically. It allows for data initially captured for one purpose to be translated and used for another purpose. Data audit. This is an organizational procedure for monitoring quality of data by analyzing reports for anomalies, inaccuracies, and missing data. All right. And so you all probably have done or been involved with most of these to some degree. I know specifically you probably have been involved with a data audit. And simplistically, we can say, what do you think a data audit would consist of? Pretty much coding is our major source of auditing in HIM. And so why did we choose coding? Because it's a recognized nomenclature that is able to be translated amongst HL7, amongst all of the system codes in healthcare, the ICD-10, CM, all of the ICD. And there are not many acronyms, excuse me, should I say nomenclatures that can say that. And so that's the distinguishment of utilizing ICD-10 coding or ICD coding, because of course these ICD International Classification of Diseases were in the 10th clinical modification, but this dates back to ICD 8 many years ago. All right, data quality controls. They include tools such as edits and field types, which are used in information systems that help ensure data quality. Data quality management, this term here has evolved. You might hear it being called process improvement, quality improvement, continuous quality improvement, enterprise standards improvement. This name has evolved significantly. However, the meanings remain the same. It's a way of managing and or assessing quality. It has to be measurable in order to determine if it's compliant. So as a part of a data quality management program, you will in fact have performance standards, or here we go again, interchangeable terminology, measurement performance standards. Okay. And so this process or this program involves business processes that ensure the integrity of an organization's data during collection, application, including aggregation, warehousing, and analysis. Data architecture is the development and maintenance of specifications about data that reside in electronic electronic databases. Okay, and then our last one, data dictionary. Data dictionary is a descriptive list of the names, definitions, and attributes of data elements to be collected in an information system or database whose purpose is to standardize definitions and ensure consistent use. So why is standardization important? Because what? It ensures compliance through consistency. And therefore, you're able to accomplish a certain degree, a certain threshold of quality and or productivity. All right, we're going to stop there. And as I've done before, I will load the entire PowerPoint presentation in its entirety on the main page, homepage, so that you can view it at your convenience. We're winding down. As I said before, I've enjoyed being your instructor. I hope to have you again. I want to wish you all a wonderful holiday season and enjoy your time between our break here. And then hopefully I'll see you next year in 2021. Have a great evening. Goodbye for now. Bye-bye.